Okay. All right. It should be still setting up. Are we live? Let's see. No. Let's go. Is it? Where are you? I'm looking for you. Where is?
Me?
Yeah. Let's see. Facebook.
I'm on your Facebook.
Let's see. Are we live? I'm not. I can't even see the screen right now. Let me get out some of these.
This is your main channel where your last post was the first bottle you ran out of. I'm on the right place.
Yes. Why can't I see you? There we go. I can see you. Yay. All right. And yes, and it's not just, I set the settings. So we are live. My name is Dr. Sharnael Wolverton-Sehon. I am with Swiftfire True TV and super excited to have David Weiss on here today to discuss flat Earth versus globe Earth. And first of all, it's just an honor to finally see your face and meet you and talk to you in real life. We've been on the phone a few times, but thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks. Looking forward to the conversation.
Awesome. So as you know, we've had a few discussions on the phone and going back and forth a little bit. I am personally programmed into the globe Earth situation and also super open to being wrong. I don't really care, to be honest. I have wondered, what this is all about. And Jason Q, who is a dear friend of mine, and we do a show together on Thursday nights. He's thrown a little bit out there back and forth over our existing friendship, and also would love to get your feedback too. And I know a lot of people, this is a hot topic right now where people are just trying to figure it all out. So first of all, before we get into that, if you could just give us a little bit of background of who you are, how you got here, like what's your deal, just so people can get to know you a little bit more as well.
Yeah, my deal is I'm a normal guy. I'm in the corporate America, and a buddy of mine, we worked in a corporation, and at lunchtime we would talk conspiracies in the lunchroom, and people would gather around, and the crowd got bigger and bigger and bigger, and we were talking stuff, basic stuff, the Federal Reserve, what's money and whatnot. And then we decided, you know what, let's do a pod. He goes, we can do a podcast. I got an opportunity in New York City. I didn't even know what a podcast was. I was like, I think I knew what it was. And so we did this podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, where we looked into all the deceptions of the world. And we did it for 3 years. In the third year, people started sending me, hey, Dave, have you looked into flat Earth? Delete. They kept sending again and again. You have to watch this video. Banned from my social media. I'm not going to watch a 1 minute video. Dumbest topic ever. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm too busy. And then another prevalent, respected researcher, Sophia Smallstorm, told me she thought the Earth was flat and to watch these videos. And she sent me Mark Sargent's Clues series. And so I looked at it. I was like, all right, it's interesting, but I'm just going to prove the globe and end this nonsense. And for 2 weeks, I tried to prove the globe. And 6 years later, I've quit my own company. I had my own successful company. I was making great money. I was my own boss. And I walked away from it all to help wake up the world to the greatest deception of all time. As we go through this, and we're gonna fly through some points, people that are new to this are gonna throw up their hands and go, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? And we'll get to that towards the end. Okay. But when I started, I said, there's a million proofs of the globe and there's zero proof of flat Earth. Nothing could be more opposite. There are zero proofs of the globe, even though you think you have them. Ships over the horizon, Six in Shadows by Aristophanes from ancient Greece, seasons, sunsets, all of that actually proves flat Earth. when you look into it. We've been programmed to boxed into one thought and unable to see the reality that's right there for everyone to see. Once you see the heliocentric system, this is a balloon shot at 120,000 feet, and the Earth should be spinning 1,000 miles an hour below this balloon, and it's not. It's just sitting there, and it's flat with a small local sun. So where do you want to go? You want to start with the the heliocentric model, which people don't even know what they believe in?
Sure, I'll just let you first, and two, for those of you watching, if you could do me a favor and share and tag, and David, I don't, if you're on Facebook or Twitter, if you could share on your pages too, just so people can watch this in real time. I would love to have people join us, and in case there's any Q&A too, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in there, say where you're from, what have you too. But yeah, go ahead, just you go for it, man.
So we're gonna look at the Flat Earth podcast. I mean the Flat Earth podcast. That's the name of my podcast. We're gonna look at people. There's people that hate Flat Earth. Those are the people that don't know what the heliocentric model is, and they have the wrong impression of Flat Earth because they Googled Flat Earth. They go, you know what? I'm going to look up Flat Earth, and they end up at the Flat Earth Society. Google, well, it's like Googling, are vaccines safe? Okay, right? It's going to take you to propaganda. The Flat Earth Society is not what any of us believe. It's nonsense, and it's a gatekeeping site. And if you try to find any good videos now, they've changed the algorithms. You get all programmed stuff. The Earth is supposedly spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. Okay, that's insane. That means when you're watching the sunset, you think that you're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound. That's how the sun appears to go down, right? You can laugh at any time during this because this is what you believe. And then while you're spinning, you're orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. Funny number, right? 66,600 miles an hour. This is according to NASA, the evildoers that they are. And then you're chasing the sun at over 500,000 miles an hour, and the entire system's moving sideways at either 1.2 or 2 million miles an hour. Who cares? What's the difference? None of that makes any sense. You have all of that going on, right? And do you feel like you're spinning? Does this look like we're spinning? This lake mirroring a mountain? If you tapped your foot on the shoreline, it would send waves across that. And people say, well, it's all relative. Already going that speed, you don't feel the difference. Like I'm in an airplane, I could drink my water and walk to the bathroom. If you're in a car going 100 miles an hour with a bowl of water, a shallow bowl of water, and the car's on a perfectly straight, smooth road, no problem. Now the car takes a little bit of a turn, that water's gone. All right. We're curving, spinning, whirling, and twirling at speeds that are impossible, just unimaginable. And we get lakes like that. We get images like this. The Earth is flat and stationary. Let me explain what the Earth is, what the Flat Earth model is. Okay, we're not a disc flying in space like the Flat Earth Society would want you to believe. Nobody believes this. If you Google flat Earth, you get this. Why is the Earth the only flat planet? That's crazy. Well, we don't even believe that there's planets. There's lights in the sky. We'll get into that in a little bit. But the Earth is the basement of the universe, okay? So the Earth is like a giant pond, all right? Think about this. When you have a puddle, where does the puddle reside? It resides in the low spot in the land, right? You got some water, and a pond is the same thing. It's just bigger. And imagine that there's some bumps of land in the pond that are higher than the surface of the pond. Those are islands, right? And the edge of the pond is the higher land that's just higher than the water, than the level water. You with me? That's a pond. Now think of the Earth as the same thing. You have if you got on a boat and went to, I don't know, where are you, in California or wherever?
Louisiana right now.
Louisiana. Yeah. So you get on a boat, go anywhere, go to Europe, go to Florida, go to the Caribbean. You pull up to the shore, you get off the boat, and you walk away because the water just comes up to the edge of the land. Well, if you go to Antarctica, the land is 200 feet over your head. Antarctica is the land that surrounds the world pond, and it's the highest land on Earth. It's holding in the world pond. Okay. What's out there? We don't know. It's off limits. We can get into that too. So we live in the world pond. The islands are the continents are the islands. we can circumnavigate the islands east and west, because the North Pole is at the center of the flat Earth. I'm kind of jumping all over. I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'm kind of flying. The North Pole is at the center. Now, if I put a compass down, I can go east or west and circle around, but I have to make a circle to maintain that setting, because I need that compass to point towards the center. So I'm dead reckoning 90 degrees east, and I end up where I started from. That doesn't mean I'm on a ball. That means I'm going around a magnetic center on a flat plane. It could mean I'm on a ball. It doesn't prove either. I can also go, so I can go east and west, and it brings you back to where you were. I can also go in a straight line. If I don't pay attention to the compass, I'm heading south, right? Because if I don't turn, my compass will change and I'll end up in Antarctica, which is the shoreline, right? I can even go across, I can head north from the United States, past the North Pole, continue straight. Now I'm heading south and I'm over in Japan. Okay. I think this video will show you that next, right? So if I go past the North Pole, watch, the compass will spin around. All right, now this is going south. If I go south, I don't pop up on the other side. If I was on a ball, I would pop up on the other side. You with me?
Yeah.
So the question is,
Wow.
If we're on a ball and I want to go from Santiago, Chile to Australia, why don't I just take this little short route here? And they say, well, you can't fly over Antarctica. We must protect the ice and the penguins. Okay. Why don't I take this little route around here, this little short route at 60 degrees south or whatever it is, 50 degrees south. That short route, that's not what we do. When you want to go from Santiago to Australia, the plane goes all the way to the north, all the way over, and all the way back down. That's crazy. Lay that out on a flat Earth. This is what got Charlie, by the way, Charlie Ward, because he's taking this flight. It's a straight line. That same path is a straight line. Airplanes fly in straight lines over the Earth plane. You with me?
So you're saying because it's flat, that's I'm pointing. Yeah. So that's the real thing that's happening, even though they're trying to tell us that the other thing is happening.
Right. Why would you go all the way up here and over and down? Why wouldn't you just fly straight across? And on a globe, these 2 points, Santiago and Australia, are actually even closer together, right?
Yeah,
Go back.
I'm looking at that because my first gut reaction is going back to that other slide. If I'm in Louisiana and I'm trying to get to California, they make me go to Atlanta to get to California instead of going straight every time. And they say it's because it's a better hub, or I don't know. But
Traveling, go ahead. Sorry.
But it is shorter. I mean, it is shorter with what you just showed versus the other way. So keep going.
On the flat Earth, on the globe, or on the flat Earth, traveling from 2 points in the north, it's kind of the same on the globe and a flat Earth. It's traveling in the outer southern lands that they tell us is at the bottom of a ball to another outer southern land. Like if you want to go from Santiago up to the United States, it's a straight line on a globe or on a flat Earth. If you want to go from Santiago to Australia, this is the straight line that you take, right? But you should be able to go underneath the ball, but we don't, because nothing makes sense on a globe. It's the deep southern lands that cause the problem. Okay. So where do you want to go from here? There's so much to cover, so little time. So you ask a question and I'll take you there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess my big question has always been, and something that keeps coming up, it's like, what's the point? Like, who does it really matter?
We're already there.
What's that?
We're already there.
Yeah.
Here's why. Because, in the flat Earth, in the what I call the helio-nonsensical model, where people think we live in this, we're spinning, twirling, whirling out of crazy speeds, and everything's changing, and we are lost in space. We are a random accident. The official story is nothing existed, nothing exploded, became everything. Then all the hard matter turned into rocky balls, and all of the gases coalesced to make giant balls, which turned into suns and left a vacuum in between somehow. And then gravity started making everything go around each other. And that when you look at it, it makes no sense. It can't be modeled on a computer. I'll talk about the 3-body problem in a second. But why does it matter? Because if you believe that you're a random accident that evolved from a lightning strike that made an amoeba that turned into a fish, that turned into a monkey, that turned into a human, you've given away your divinity, your divine power. You believe that you're on a random speck with trillions of other specks in a godless or distant God endless universe at best, versus that you are at the center of creation, that you are special, that you have God-given free will, and you're a divine, powerful, energetic being having this experience here. Then you take your power back. The government, the govern your mind, control your mind, government is here to control your mind, and they can't take stuff away from you without you agreeing. And so they tell us what they're doing. And if we're too stupid, if we're lost in space, we can't make any rational decisions. Now, there are some people that have, that realize there is a creator, whoever that may be, and that are doing pretty well, that think we live on a ball, but they're missing part of the story. They're doing fine. Okay. There's a lot of people that are doing fine. But when you understand where you are, you understand that, the stars that they tell us aren't burning balls of hydrogen, that they're actually, close and sentient in nature. And within the Earth system, this is the star. What star is this? Arcturus. And here's Capella. Okay, this one's a little out of focus, but look at these cymatic patterns. These are all within the Earth system. And here's Sirius. Okay, it's slowed down a little bit, but these are not burning balls of hydrogen that are billions and trillions of miles away. I mean, the distances they give us in space are insanity, right? So, to answer your question?
So what about the planets? If we're flat, are the planets flat? Like what?
So the only thing that you can accurately say about anything in the sky is that it's a light. We don't know how far they are, how big they are, what they are, or anything. But we can look at what NASA shows us. The only pictures we have of planets are from NASA. Here's Jupiter is this gaseous planet where these rings spin in different directions, and this storm has been spinning, and this is turbulence from the storm. In 2016, they said, "Hey, look, we got this picture of the aurora on Jupiter." Now, you could say that's fake, or you could say, well, how do you know it's fake? It could be real. It could be time lapse, whatever. The problem is, this is the 2014 picture from NASA, from their website. And if you look, every single, like this little dot right here is right there. Every single ripple of every single storm is the same over 2 years later. That tells you they're lying. If they're lying about that, they're lying about Pluto. This was a picture that flew by Pluto, right? And somehow Pluto, they got a full, like a full moon, they got a full Pluto. The sun is the size of a friggin' star at the distance of Pluto, but somehow it lit up Pluto, unbelievable. And it has this little outline, kind of looks like Pluto, don't you think? This is fake. This could be the bottom of a frying pan. You have no idea, right? NASA admits they don't have any photos of Earth. Here's the blue marble that was on everyone's.
NASA admits that there's no planets of Earth.
Yeah, they know that they admit that they on the planets they never say photograph. They're very careful with the words. They say picture and image. Pictures and images are not photographs. This one is what was the most famous one. Is called the blue marble. It's on everyone's iPhone when the first iPhones came out. It's in every textbook. And Robert Simmons, a NASA visual artist, admitted he made it in Photoshop. Okay. He made it in Photoshop. He talks about how he added colors here. And he goes, based on data, that there was algae here. I made that a little purple, a little bluer, a little greener. And he made it in Photoshop. Look at the United States and look at the United States here. It's twice the size. Now this is the United States. If I tip it backwards like the other one, the United States would get smaller. Okay. This is over twice the size of this one. This is nonsense. This is a cartoon. You don't live on a cartoon, right?
So who made, you're saying somebody made that graphic?
Robert Simmons, a NASA visual artist, said he made it in Photoshop.
And when was that?
That was back when the first iPhone came out. There's an interview. It's still available because so many people mirrored it. But here, just look at this. Look at in each of these colored squares. These clouds are exactly the same. They're stepped and repeated. They're just cloned. They use the cloning tool. There's more than are just marked here. We find pictures of the Earth 10 years apart, or, the pictures that they say are from satellites or whatever, and the same clouds are on the Earth, 10 years apart. It's ridiculous what people will believe. Going back to this one, this is the 2012 shot. You see the United States right here? Okay. And I made a circle here on this map showing you basically what we're seeing here. So of course we have a full Earth. They always get a full Earth, like a full moon. You have to believe that the rest of this land, all of this land, is on the other side of this cartoon ball. Okay. It's cartoon ball. That's what the globe Earth. I just showed you 3 or 4 examples of NASA lying. Okay. If they lie once, they're lying a million times. I mean, this thing took 2 guys to the moon with a golf cart, a dune buggy, golf clubs, right? They drove around on the moon. This thing's made of tinfoil, paper mache, duct tape, cardboard, and curtain rods. Okay. This is it looks more like a homeless tweaker shelter, but they went with all of that stuff, right? They went on the moon. First guys on the moon. They successfully launched off the moon on an untested, thing. The video footage is worse than a Saturday morning cartoon, right? And then they got back to Earth and had a press conference, right? Would you be pretty darn psyched if you were the first man on the moon? You got the dune buggy, play golf, right? Right? This is their press conference. So if I said to you, if you didn't know who these guys were, I'd say, did these guys just do the first walk on the moon, play golf, and a dune buggy, or did they just find out that somebody shot their dog? Which one would it be?
Well, there is a video out there of one of them that actually admits to not going at all.
David Rodriguez I interviewed him, and he said he was speaking with Buzz Aldrin at some event, and he said, Buzz, I know you didn't go to the moon. And Buzz patted him on the back and said, you're a smart kid. And he walked away. Okay. They're lying. So here's what you have to unwind from this. Every single thing that you think is real that came from NASA is gone, right? People say, well, what about, I was on a show yesterday. He goes, well, what about black holes in the nebula galaxy? Came from NASA. Garbage. NASA has never been into space. They're a Hollywood studio. Hey, check this out. This is from Mars. This is from Greenland.
Wow. What?
Okay. Well, you know how you know this is from Mars? Look, you can see the edge of the rover that took the picture. Okay. That's that. I mean, you can't fake that.
That's really scary. You
can't fake that. Everything from NASA is evil.
Well,
evil.
NASA actually means deception in the original.
Their logo is a snake's tongue.
What?
Look at their logo. It's it's a snake's tongue.
So what's the circle in NASA?
This is their logo. This is if you go look up the NASA logo, it's a circle. It says NASA, and it's got the snake. It's got this red thing to it. I just added the snake to show you that that's really what it is. I mean, they're evil serpent, insanity.
Okay. So what about, I have a telescope, and when I look out and see, I have been able to see Saturn and Jupiter with a telescope.
Me too. And they sure look spherical. They do look spherical, right? So does the moon look spherical? Are these 3 moons that are spherical? Right? Well, that was a little deceptive because there's a cup. Is this one spherical before they touch it? Is that spherical? Okay. It looks spherical, right? Kind of has a little hot spot. It fades off on the edge. Nope, it's flat. Okay. Is this one spherical? Okay. Is this one spherical? Nope. It's a cup. All right. The next one is the sphere. Okay. So the question I have for you is, look up at the lights in your ceiling right now. Do you have any lights in your ceiling above you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now look at the shape of those lights carefully. Look at them and tell me what shape the floor is.
The floor is flat.
Yeah. What shape? You have to look at the lights and then deduce what shape the floor is. Ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if the things that you're seeing in the sky are spheres, maybe they are. Doesn't mean that the floor is a sphere. If you look at the balls on a pool table, they're spheres for sure. The pool table is flat. Okay. So the lights in the sky, the only thing that we can truly say about them is they're lights, and any light in a distance looks like a sphere. But I'll give it to you. Saturn looks like a sphere with a lit up sphere around it, but it looks like it's its own light, right? If you look at, the moon landings, for example, there's a full moon. It doesn't look like those spheres I just showed you that had a hot spot, a single source light lighting up a sphere would give you a hot spot. It wouldn't light it up perfectly edge to edge. This looks like its own light. If you're out in the middle of nowhere and there's a full moon, you can navigate and you can read with moonlight. It's bright enough, cast shadows on the ground. Okay. This dusty, dirty rock with this liar right here, this guy's a liar, right? Is radiating light 238,000 miles back to Earth. That's this bright. That light, by the way, if this was 1 lumen is a measurement of light. If this was 1 lumen, it's more like 10 or 20 lumens, right? If you can read by it, I don't know. We'll just give them the benefit of the doubt. It's 1 lumen. If you use what's called the inverse square law of light, every time you half the distance, the light brightness quadruples. So halfway to the moon, it would be 4. Halfway from there would be 16. Halfway from there would be 64. And when you get to the point where they took a picture of the moon about 100 miles away and it showed a dusty, dirty ball like this, it would be 10 million lumens, something like 10 million. I forget the number, but it's ridiculous, whatever it is. It's so bright, it'd probably melt your eyeballs, right? That's how bright it would have to be for us to see it this bright. So science, real science, not pseudoscience, proves that this is not a light a dusty, dirty ball reflecting sunlight back to Earth. And, if you measure, if you magnify moonlight, it's actually cold. That it's colder in the moonlight than it is in the moon shade. There's tons of experiments showing this. It's fascinating.
Yeah, this is so bizarre. Okay, so when we're looking at, when you're saying, going back to the cup and, the curve and the dome and whatever that you're showing with that slide previous. So when we're looking at a telescope and we're seeing whatever we're seeing, so there's a cup in the sky. There's like a flat.
No. The moon on flat Earth or the globe Earth is the biggest mystery of all. Because when the moon goes new, when we get a new moon, which is no light on the moon, right? You can't see it. Nobody's ever been able to see it. No high flying aircraft. The NASA, again, they can't see it because they're not in space, but no one with any special telescope, infrared, no one's ever been able to spot the moon. Now, when we have a full moon, that means the sun is behind us, the moon is over here, right? So the sun is lighting up the moon full, supposedly. Okay. That moonlight is good enough to read by, good enough to read by and cast shadows. Well, the opposite is true. When there's a new moon, the sun's behind us. The sun is, where is the sun? When there's a new moon, the sun is behind the moon, okay? So if you're on the moon looking at the Earth, you have a full Earth because the sun's behind you, right? The Earth is 6 times bigger, shinier. Bigger than the moon.
Okay.
It's 6 times bigger. It's shinier. So it should be reflecting some light to light up the moon. Right? You should be able to at least read by it on the moon. It should give enough light where we could actually see the moon. There's no earthshine. We have moonshine, but earthshine should be 6 times, a minimum 6 times brighter than the moonshine, and it's not there. Once the new moon goes new, no one's ever been able to see it in less than 40 some odd hours. It's almost 2 full days. Okay.
But isn't that because, well, I've never heard of earthshine. But
it's the same thing as moonshine.
Coming from sunshine?
Well, you would think that somehow you would be able to see the moon with some of the reflected light off the sun, right? Because the reflected light off the moon is bright enough. Again, the moon is an anomaly. I believe that the sun and the moon that we see are not the real sun and moon. They're not the physical sun and moon, that they're a reflection that is being coming through the firmament. Here's an example right here. Here's a little crude model of the Earth. And you got this sun floating around in here. Can you see it? It's actually floating in the dome, right? And it looks like a sphere. Right there with your own eyes, when you're close, it looks like a sphere. And what it really is me holding a light on my phone above it, okay? So it's kind of like the source of the sun is being reflected into our reality. Again, I don't know how it works. Anything above our head, above cruising altitude, or beyond the shoreline of Antarctica is speculation. I am speculating.
So you don't, which that leads me to another question is, what's beyond, and why would they want us to not go past if there's really ice that's the end? I mean, is there a part where you could like fall off? Is the ice there to keep us from falling off?
So remember I told you Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. It's holding in the oceans. So if you were on a lake in Kansas and you sailed to the edge of the lake, could you fall off the lake? No, there's land that goes on through Kansas and through all the other states. How far does it go? We don't know how far the land goes in Antarctica because we're not allowed to go there. In 1957, all of the countries of the world signed the Antarctic Treaty for environmental reasons, right? Before environmentalism was a word, okay? They all said, we must protect the penguins. We must protect the ice. We need pristine ice. Nobody can drop a cigarette butt down there. Nobody can go there. And no one can even question the treaty until 2041. Okay. No one can even question the treaty. This has been in place since
41.
The year 2041.
And then
okay.
what? It's going to be.
And then they'll kick the can down the road and push it for another 40 years, assuming, the world still exists by then. But this is in place. It can't be questioned, but we can cut down the Amazons and plant palm oil trees and, do whatever we want, for environmentally destroying the ecosystem of our world, but we can't go to Antarctica. It's absolute insanity. So the question is, what's beyond there? There's some theories that, here's where we live and here's Antarctica. And when you go a couple thousand miles, there's more oceans and more lands, and there's another sun and moon out here. And that other sun and moon in this ring could be Mars and Venus. Venus has phases just like our moon. Mars could be the sun that's out here. And if you took my little dome model that I did and that light made a nice looking sun in there, if I move that light to the outer ring, that light that still shows up in the dome now looks like a star because it's so much smaller. So again, there's so many possibilities, we don't know, right? Do you know why most people believe in NASA? Because they're floating on the space station like this, okay? They're floating on the space station. And then they're flipping things around because they're using augmented reality. And sometimes when they use augmented reality, which is they're manipulating things in space that aren't really there, but they can play with them in space. So I'm trying to see if I have the video. All right, here they are. This guy, is he hanging from wires? The mask didn't work and you could see his harness, right? They're doing this thing where they're flipping their thing around and this guy just cruises right through, right? Wow. This is NASA. NASA fakes everything. Here, look at these guys. Look at these guys. Oh, what happened? Something went wrong with the green screen and they quickly cut away to mission control. This is at the end and bam. Everything that was floating in the foreground disappeared, but everything that wasn't floating stayed perfectly crisp.
Wow.
Can you trust anything NASA does? So check this one out. This is NASA's rockets go right out into the Bermuda Triangle and crash. This is a rocket in Arizona that went up, an amateur rocket. It went up super fast. I have this sped up a little bit. And it has a camera looking down and a camera looking outwards. And all of a sudden it went at 73 miles. It went kerplunk. It stopped spinning and started floating right there in like a viscous. It sounded like it went into something viscous, not as thick as water, but something. And then watch what happens. It rolls on its side and it can see the moon. Ready? Here comes the moon. There's the moon. I slowed it down a little bit. See the moon right there? That's the moon. You with me? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? The moon at the time of this launch was over Australia. Okay? That would be on the other side of the Earth, but it could see it. Do you know why?
Oh.
It could see it because it was high enough where it wasn't compressed into the horizon and the Earth is flat and stationary. There's no question about it, right?
Wow.
Amazing, right?
So,
what about
okay,
sunsets?
I
Want to
have
ask
more
about sunsets?
questions.
Go ahead, hit me.
Okay, so first of all, I was gonna say this whole thing sparked my curiosity, I guess you could say, because I just, Jason talks about it all the time, and he's pretty passionate about it, and so I just out of whatever put something on Facebook and said flat Earth or globe Earth question mark, and just to see what anyone would say. And of course I got my mixed bag of whatever, but what some people came back with were scriptures to support. And it says something like globe on 2 or 3 different ones that were presented. So out of curiosity, because I like to look at the real, I go to the Hebrew and the Greek of everything, and I look at scripture as quantum physics, and the Bible itself has some things that are misinterpreted, miswritten, missing things, not cited, all of that. That's a whole different debate. But so when I look to see, okay, well, what are you saying? What did they really say in the sentence that you're throwing out there? The word that they used for globe, or that they translated to globe, actually meant circle,
right?
And vault.
Right. Vault is the firmament, the dome, and the circle of the earth. The earth is a circle. Isaiah, I think it was in Isaiah, said the circle of the earth. Well, the earth is a circle. It's not a sphere. It's a circle.
And there's a difference. There is a big difference between circle and sphere. And none of them said sphere.
Huge difference.
They all said circle and or vault.
Circle of the earth right here.
Yeah.
Okay? And everything that we see in the sky. Now, do you follow astrology a little bit at all?
Just recently, yeah, with what's going on. And
it's interesting. And I used to laugh at astrology. I'm like, how does a rocky planet, 50 million miles away or whatever it is, affect my life? It doesn't even have enough energy to pull on our moon, to tug the moon or anything. Okay. So what difference does that make? Well, once you realize that everything that we see, they're not rocks, they're energetic, sentient bodies, in my opinion, within the Earth system, then it all affects your life. Millionaires, what was the saying? Billionaires have astrologers. Something I always forget the saying, but billionaires use astrology. Okay, because
I just did a live yesterday or the day before with Leslie Davis, who's actually studied how it does affect the ether and the DNA with each positioning of what is coming from whatever is out there, and how, because it does come into the atmosphere and actually goes through our field of our existence and our biofield. And so that does do some things to the DNA, depending on who you are and your abilities, and just you as a person and what you came into. It does shift things, which is interesting. But so what's on the bottom?
Let me answer that, but I want to just add one more thing to the astrology. All the stuff that you're studying about these energies and all of that stuff, you're taking all of this knowledge and you're wrapping it around your world belief. And your world belief, before you can talk, was ingrained to you that we live on a ball, and that's fine. You're wrapping it around it, and you can make it work, right? But if you lay it over a flat Earth where we really live, it works even better. So what's underneath? What about aliens? I need aliens. Aliens have to be real. Well, extraterrestrials come from the extra terra, beyond, across the Earth plane. They're a day trip away on a conventional aircraft, let alone trillions of miles, through galactic space, and then they crashed in Roswell. It's just utter nonsense.
So it's beyond the ice, basically, you're saying.
It could be. It could be. Again, anything beyond Antarctica, which is this ring right here, is speculation. But there's stories about a senator that took a ship. He kind of tried to get away from it all and found a passageway through and went to another land. And there was people out there, and they basically said they were a breakaway civilization from the 1600s that went there because they didn't like the tyranny that was happening here. And
are you talking about Bird?
No, I'm talking about I forget the guy's name, but it's called the Iron Republic. And And there, if you look on YouTube, somebody did a reading of it. It's a 5-hour video, just a reading of the book called The Iron Republic. And it's fascinating. But again, you know, some people say it's fiction. I don't think so. So what's below the flat earth? Well, you know, we've all seen the cross section of the globe, right? Where we see all the layers and the mantle. That's a meme. It's a cartoon that has zero science, okay? Because this is what happened. The deepest hole is called the Great Kora Borehole or something like that in Russia. And it was a multinational project where they dug and they used ground penetrating radar to see what they were digging into. And they were wrong every step of the way. You know, no, there's no more rocks. Up, we hit rocks. Up, there's no more water. Up, we hit water. And they got to just short of 8 miles and they hit a barrier and they couldn't get through it. They couldn't drill through it. They couldn't blow it up. They couldn't do anything. They tried for years, I think, and they couldn't get through an impenetrable barrier to all technology. So that's equivalent if the earth was an apple that they dug halfway through the skin of the apple and they were wrong every step of the way, but somehow they know what's at the core. Okay. It's pseudoscience. It's nonsense. So what's below the flat earth? Got me. It's not a disc in space, right? Nobody believes that, you know, that we're a disc flying in space like the Flat Earth Society would want you to believe. All right. Nobody believes this. This is nonsense. It's the way I describe it is, you know, flat earth is the basement of the universe. We are at the basement of the universe. Are we on God's footstool? I don't know. Can't go there. But it's, you know, in the Bible, there's many verses that says God created the earth on its foundation and it does not move. You know, it cannot be moved. Now, little earthquakes and stuff, I wouldn't call that moving of the earth. It's, you know, it's a shiver. I don't know what it is. You know, no, if you Google flat earth, this is what you get. Nobody believes this. This is what the ball trolls, the ones that try to make you think flat earth is stupid, they show you this. Nobody believes this. Nobody. This is garbage. Okay. Nobody thinks that whatsoever. Right. And then if you go to Netflix, you know, you're going to get the Behind the Curve. It's a Netflix deception. It's a movie made so people would think the flat earthers are stupid. Okay. So it's kind of like a fun movie. It's a little love story. But it's in the end, their goal was to make people think flat earthers are hiding the fact that they know that it's a globe. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they did the same thing when Trump came out with Space Force.
Absolutely.
They had a Netflix series that was ready to go, lined up. All the actors and everything had like been done with the post, everything, and it was ready to go. Called Space Force to make the whole thing stupid.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I call it space farce. This is what you need to believe in the globe. Endless TV nonsense and movies and everything. And this is all you need to realize the earth is flat. If you got a like a piece of sheet metal or something, shiny plastic, and you put a light, you know, where the sun is, and you make it so you can see the light skimming across the plastic, bend that plastic just a little bit, just give it a little bit of an arch, and that line will stop. You will not see that line. Okay. This distance to the sun, there should be hundreds of feet of curvature, but we're seeing a line that comes all the way to your feet. Okay. That's because large bodies of water at rest lay flat, period. Okay. There is no curvature. We can see too far, right?
wow.
You know, here's some more. This is NASA. Do you know that their training facility, they have a mock-up of the space station in a pool that has green screens that can do this for training purposes.
Wait, what now?
Yeah. NASA trains in a pool with scuba divers, as you can see.
So that's a swimming pool.
It's a swimming pool, and this is the crap they show us on TV right here.
Oh my gosh.
NASA, you know, this is what NASA will give us. They'll say, look at this, you know, and they'll show us this, and, you know, but the earth won't be spinning. It's crap. This was done in a swimming pool. Okay. It's done in a swimming pool with a green screen.
Right. I'm like, totally, this is wow.
Yeah. Here, how about this? Remember when Elon Musk sent his car into space? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool, right? He sent a Tesla into space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tesla is a worldwide company. They have showrooms where? In every country. everywhere.
Yeah.
There's Tesla showrooms everywhere. If he sent a Tesla into space, do you think there should be a poster of this in every Tesla showroom? Probably. Great marketing, right?
Right.
Do you think it should be on the cover of Time Magazine, National Geographic, Omni Magazine, Popular Mechanics? It's on none of them. And there's no photos in any Tesla shop. And they don't talk about it because it's embarrassment. Okay. It's garbage. It's all fake. None of this ever happened. And people friggin' believe it. Okay. You know, they land these rockets on the upright. This little fire is stopping this thing, which is like 15 stories high. It weighs like 40 tons empty. And it's landing on this raft in the middle of the ocean, and there's never anyone there to see it, right? They'll never show you, and the camera there always cuts out just before it lands. So let me tell you where they got that from. This 1957 movie, this Russian movie, where they're landing things. This is the movie, and this is SpaceX. Watch this one again over here. Okay. By the way, I'm a windsurfer, a kite surfer. I know the ocean. It's blowing 15 to 25 knots out here. There's 10-foot swells. You couldn't stand on that raft, let alone land, without holding on to something, let alone land this thing. It's complete and total mind control garbage. I can go on and on. How about the sunset? Here's the sunset that is in a dry, elevated place where you don't see it go down. You'll see it go down, 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 down to here. Then it stops and it just goes away. It's not going down. It's going away just like you see it. Paul McCartney knew. Okay. The fool on the hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head see the world spinning round. Right? Here's one. This is on a super clear day. I put my drone up in the air, 4K camera, and I watched the sun go down, 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 down. In 5 minutes, it went from way up here all the way down to the horizon here. I'm going to zoom out in a second, right? And then it sat there for 10 minutes. It stopped going down. That's impossible if the Earth was spinning. And then watch what happens. This is super sped up, like 2,500%. Okay, it just sat there, and it didn't go below the horizon. It just faded into the thickness of the atmosphere. It's going to show you again, a little zoomed out. Okay. It sat there for 10 minutes and then it just disappeared because light doesn't travel forever. It can't push through the soup of the atmosphere. And at a certain distance, it just stops. Okay. You can have daylight next to darkness and without a barrier. It's amazing.
I actually have seen where it's like
you have seen it going from the bottom up, and that's because when you have when you look across the atmosphere becomes opaque at a short distance, 50 miles, 60 miles, 70 miles. It becomes pretty opaque, whatever it is, even if it was 150 miles. And that deck that becomes opaque is up to 10, 20,000 feet, depending. I'm not whatever it is, but at just 20 miles. 10,000 feet merges with the horizon. The way you see it, it merges with the horizon. So look at this. Here's this atmospheric deck above your eyes, right? And here's the sun, which is above it. And if I take that sun away, it sets. Okay? But your eyes are seeing that horizon right here at the horizon, and you're seeing it go like this. And it looks like it's setting, but it's really just going beyond that. Okay? I have now. Let me just really quick, share. I know we're running out of time. So this is my app, and I made this app so you can show people how Flat Earth works, but it also serves another purpose, which is it gets around Google censorship. If you Google Flat Earth, as I told you, it gives you nonsense. It gives you garbage. This shows you how the Earth works. So right now, December 22nd, 21st. The sun is over this outer yellow line, which is the Tropic of Capricorn. And all of these outer southern lands are having the height of their summer, while we in the inner north are having the height of our winter because the sun is farther away and therefore it's lower in the sky. And our days are shorter because it's not within viewing distance for, longer periods of time. If I jump forward 6 months, the sun moves all the way into the Tropic of Cancer. So here we are in June, and it's the height of our summer because the sun is closer and higher in our sky, and the outer land has its summer. let me speed it up here. And if you watch, the sun will lap the moon every 28 days. So right now we're right at a full moon when it's opposed, and now the moon will start waning and the sun will start catching up to the moon. So the sun marks the hours of the day. The moon keeps track of the months. And if I slow it down and turn on the stars keep track of the seasons. The stars are spinning just slightly faster than the sun. Therefore, the sun will move backwards into each zodiac. So right now it's moving into this Pisces or whatever. This is Aquarius, right? So we're moving into that, and then 30 days later it'll move here. 30 days later it'll move into here, and so that's how the wheels in the sky turn and keep track of everything like a perfect clock. Eclipses run on a cycle, an 18-year and like 11-day cycle. They run on a cycle. So real quick, in the app, if you hit the question mark, which people are like, well, what about, what about what? What about Southern Flights? Or, who's behind it? Or what about seasons, which I just explained to you, or why the lie? If I click why the lie, up comes a playlist, not like Google will give you. This is a playlist of real information. Okay. Oh. Right. And so if you get this app, and I say and then there's also tons of other information, mud floods, all other great shows, different languages. But down here in the corner, every day there's a new featured video, short ones during the week, longer ones on the weekend. I say, take the Flat Earth app challenge, just watch one video a day for 2 weeks. And then you will know that you don't live on a spinning ball, and you'll start taking your power back, and and also lose the respect of your family and friends. But that's that's a temporary thing. But what happens is someone will say, hey, I saw you on Dr. Sharnael's show, and you did a good presentation, but you're a moron, and I bought your stupid app for $2.99, and I didn't want to wait, so I hit the archive button. If you hit the archive button, up comes all of the videos organized by months from all of the previous years. And if you hit that button, bring food and water, okay? Because you're not coming out for a while. And the app does a whole bunch of other stuff. It gives you weather. It shows you like world time. Like right now, it is 5:30 in the morning. 5:30 in the morning in 5:30 in the morning, right? In Australia, or 6 o'clock in the morning in Eastern Australia. It's 10 p.m. at night in Johannesburg, right? And the world times, spin with the wherever the sun is, it's noon. Okay. So it shows you what time it is. So it's very useful. Like if you want to call your friend, you want to call your friend in Australia, I'd wait a couple hours, right? They're going to be mad that you woke them up. So yeah. So awesome. it shows you all of that. It's called the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It's the best way to learn about flat Earth. Otherwise, you'll spend 500 hours, you'll give up, because there's hundreds of videos up every week, which are garbage videos to tire your mind and make you give up. But all of the information is on here. We add new stuff every day. And just go look at the reviews on Google Play or iTunes. Just look at the reviews and you'll be like, all right, $2.99. One thing I got to tell people, just to, it says it right in the thing. There is a in-app purchase option where you can subscribe for 99 cents or $11 for the year. And what all that is you get a pop-up. It says, would you like to subscribe? You can exit out immediately. There's no ads. There's no waiting. There's no nothing. And it's gone. And it will only show up once every 24 hours. So every 24 hours that you're using it, you have to press X once, and you still get everything. Okay. It's only for the people that wake up in the morning and say, I got to see what's on that app. I got to see what's on that app. You know what? I want to support Dave. I want to give him $1 a month. A homeless guy can afford $1 a month. But so one other thing, if you go into the app, for those of you that have the app, you can change backgrounds. Like I clicked that, different background. There's tons of backgrounds. You can scroll down. You can share it with a friend, or you can hit gift the app if you're on Apple, and you could buy it for somebody for Christmas, because there's nothing better than turning a family friend or a family member or a friend into a flat earther. And again, if you want to buy a cool t-shirt, something like this or whatever, I got my t-shirt shop in there. That's it. We're done.
Yes. I don't want to cut you off because this has been awesome. And we already went over like an extra 40
No problem. Anytime you want to do it again. Yeah. And again, all I'm saying is, people, just look into it. And when I say look into it, don't Google it because you're going to end up with garbage. Just go to my YouTube channel, DITRH, the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Check out my podcast, The Flat Earth Podcast, available on all podcast players. Just listen to the first 10 episodes and you'll be a flat earther.
Awesome. Thank you for your time. Sorry to cut this so short. Also,
okay.
go to swoopfire.org and get on the newsletter in case anything happens with all the social media stuff. We can stay connected. In literally 2 minutes, I have Jen McCarty on. We're going to do a live. And for sure, Dave, we are coming back. We're going to have a part 2 because I would love to just do a Q&A with you sometime where we can answer some of these questions. And if you guys please do share and tag and get this out, because I've heard a lot of people and a lot of presentations on this. I like the visuals. I like being able to see what people are saying and to kind of have a grid for what he's talking about, what anyone's talking about. It helps me kind of get it a little more. And I'm getting the app, that's for sure. I'm going to check that out. But
are you Android or iOS?
I am very much iPhone. And so,
I will gift it to you, so you'll get an email. Just click it and you'll have the app.
Thank you, sir. Awesome. Well, you are an amazing person. I love all this attention to detail and graphics. And honestly, I might have a few minutes where I have to just integrate with this information here.
You're going to need more than a few minutes.
Yeah,
and,
like
and
2 or 3,
So
but
here's the thing. It's a lot to digest. I just dumped on you. Okay. You're going to literally, your body's going to go into shock during your next interview. And tonight you're not going to be able to sleep, but that's okay. Just get the app and watch one video a day. And then I got a little time. And the next video that comes up won't be a Google video. It'll be one of my videos.
Awesome.
So let it auto play and you'll gently be brought into a world of knowledge and take your power back.
Awesome. Well, you guys, we'll see you in literally a couple minutes with Jen. And thank you so much. You guys go to swoopfire.org to get the newsletter. Definitely connect with him and go to his YouTube and get his app and dig a little more in this. It doesn't hurt.
Not on YouTube, iOS, Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just search Flat Earth Clock. It'll come up. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app by Blue Water Bay.
Yes, and on YouTube, you actually are all over the place with the podcast. So that's what I found you. So that's what I'm saying is you can get more information there too, but definitely go to his app because it looks like he has it in a uniformed set where we can all kind of like.
Yeah. If you ask me, hey, send me something on circumnavigation, I'd send you a video, and then the next video that would come up would be a propaganda piece by Google, right? But if you go through the app, everything that comes up comes from the app.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then you make up your own decision. I'm not trying to control your mind. I'm just trying to show you there's a door over there that Google's been hiding from you. Go look behind it.
Awesome. All right, Dave. Have a great day. You guys have a great day. Talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.